Hey, Axel, you haven't forgotten.
What?
You made us a promise.
I did?
That you'd always be there. To bring us back.
Yeah.
Got it memorized?
Best friends forever. Where? What happened to me? Roxas. That's me. Dylan. Alias. Evan. Yenzo. We're people again. But only the ones who joined the organization here. I guess Xehanort doesn't count. But where are Braig and... Isa?
Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, where it's time to, well, sort of discuss a current plot point. First of all, Axel. He is back! As well as several members of the organization now recompleted as people, which, again, as we start creating some more Dream Eaters with silly names, the funniest one of which being Idiot Fandom and Stank Pussy in my eyes, but it's neither here nor there in this case, yeah, nobodies, coming back from the dead. Now, there is a bit of a misconception in Kingdom Hearts that a lot of people tend to have, namely the whole nobody dies in this series, but that's not strictly speaking true. Again, you can technically die, and when you do, your heart returns to Kingdom Hearts, this Nirvana realm, where all hearts gather, as far as we're aware at this stage. Again, where the whole nobody, people being recompleted thing comes in, is in the sense that, again, if your heart falls to darkness, i.e. if you're killed by a Heartless or your world, is consumed by darkness, or again, you fall victim to it yourself, then again, your heart splits in two. You either, part of you becomes a Heartless, your heart being corrupted by darkness and all that kind of thing, and then the body, the empty shell left behind, becomes a nobody. Again, if your body and heart and will is strong enough, then it retains its original human persona and, thus Organization 13. However, slay the Heartless, slay the nobody, and eventually they're recompleted into proper people, but that can only happen if you're slain by a Keyblade, which again is under very rare and exceptional circumstances, so yeah, not technically retconning death or anything, just, very subtle steps in the other direction, and, well, very much an aberration, which I suppose was part of the reason why Ansem the Wise was initially curious about this whole thing, and then, Apprentice Xehanort, or as we know now, Terra, under the influence of Xehanort, was so curious about that he eventually took that research into much darker depths. I mean, after all, it is part of the reason why, pre-birth by sleep you don't really see the whole nobody concept really coming up, so, yeah, it seems that Xehanort was, responsible for some quite dark things. This is probably the most inappropriate thing to talk about, scientific discoveries about, the human soul and the dark depths in which, human beings can go, but whatever, now we have a frog. I couldn't think of a name, so I just wrote some fucking gibberish here. Yeah, in the meantime though, well, we did get a fair few new Dream Eaters, I believe, the Kiru frogs are technically two things that you can technically get. There's going to be some bonus fights that I'm going to be showing off, in a little bit of a prelude part before the final world, but yeah, one of these also includes Lord Kiru, which is basically a little frog enemy that you can encounter as both Sora and Riku throughout the worlds, and yeah, basically, continue to fight him, gradually whittle down his health in each and every world you visit, and eventually you'll get the Lord Kiru Dream Eater recipe, which, yeah, I don't technically ever unlock, but I will be showing off the fight itself, because I actually completed in the first world you can find him in, which is, Pinocchio's Prankster's Paradise world, so, yay me, I finished the fight before I intended. Or, well, I'm trying to think, actually, was it in the... I'm pretty sure I actually finished it in this world, actually. So, yeah, never mind. I was intending to show off yeah, one of its fights later on, but yeah, I'll show off the initial encounter, you know, much later on, and then, I don't know, you'll see the ending of the Lord Kiru fight as we get into this current world that we're going to now. Anyway, heavy roll, fuck that, too complicated of a name. Let's just call him Gex. Yeah. Still waiting for that Gex HD collection thingamatron to come out, so, you know, time's wasting. Oh, all the fun of, making new Dream Eaters. But I mean, if nothing else, this is probably one of the more excessive, like, attempts at, like, showing off how many Dream Eaters you can create, and, I mean, again, it just goes to showcase, like, how many you can create and what combinations with ingredients you can really make. And again, it's not just the stuff you can follow by specific recipes either. Again, I highly implore you to mix and match, you know, some of your ingredients that you already have to get higher grades of Dream Eaters. So, for example, this very, like, 1910s swimsuit-looking seal over there can quite easily be of, you know, grade B, C, A, and S, so, yeah. Just, go out of your way to really, you know, arf, your seals. Also, I had no idea what to call it, so I just called it Orichalcos. Why? I don't know. Seal Orichalcos. Not really too sure why my brain defaulted to the whole Darts story arc of Yu-Gi-Oh, but here we are. Which wasn't even manga exclusive from what I recall. Ah, well, for Kidsian demand, I suppose. Kinda like the third season of Sonic X, or, Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters, I guess. Well, I mean, that was technically a thing in the manga, but whatever. Western demanding seasons of anime seems to be becoming more of a common thing, recently. What do we have left? I think all we have really is left is the Tama Sheep, which I call Idiot Fandom. Because I am the most original person. Yeah, and I mean, clearly anything that I follow means that I am most certainly not a foolish person who follows things. Oh, Monsieur Croquette! But yeah, all that aside though, like, I mean, if you want to see, like, a lot of these Dream Eaters beforehand, well, again, they're also pretty much your enemies that are also attacking you, just given a slightly darker color aesthetic to sort of showcase what they're like. So, I mean, even if you're not technically seeing me use them in combat, you are going to be seeing them, you know, at least as enemies and, you know, at least seeing a few ideas of what their attacks are like, so, yeah. It's kind of odd, actually, like, I mean, this does kind of make me wonder if, like, there could ever be a Kingdom Hearts game where, you know, you have a character who's, like, fully involved in the darkness and, you know, actively takes control of Heartless, because the whole Dream Eater system of Dream Drop Distance seems like it would perfectly translate over to, maybe even Organization 13, or, potentially, you know, with Vanitas and, Birth by Sleep, maybe having control over the Unversed, or Nobodies, I guess? I don't know, it's kind of a shame, actually. Well, I guess I could potentially follow up on that in the future. It's just a matter of whether or not we actually get to play around and, you know, see what it's like. I mean, granted, I don't think any of our heroes would technically use, you know, Heartless, Nobodies, or the Unversed, but, you know, I think from a gameplay perspective, it could actually be quite interesting to, you know, have different team-up attacks, and, like, I mean, as I said, the only real problem that people have with the Dream Eaters is their very saccharine aesthetic, but I mean, apart from that, like, Heartless, Nobody's Unversed, it'll be pretty good in my eyes. Ready, set, dive! Yeah! And now, we have to defeat 15 enemies. Shouldn't be too bad, but, yeah, this does also require you to get a big point threshold in order to, you know, cut the mustard, make the grade. And, yeah, I mean, I said beforehand that I'm not really going out of my way to get, like, a lot of the gold ranks, because I really don't give a shit about the dive keyblade that you get by getting all gold ranks for every single mission here, but, yeah. I mean, I already got a silver on, you know, one of the Prankster's Paradise ones, so really I have no particular interest. So, all rewarding stuff as we dive into this red time dream vortex of death. What? Abstract buildings. Truly, we are in the distorted dimensions of this realm. Yeah, not really too much to say. In terms of some other mechanics to talk about as we fall down here, yeah, you do have an aerial brake by pressing the circle button, and, you know, you do have, like, a little dodge shield that you can use to deflect attacks you know, whenever Sora is, you know, under heavy fire by enemies, so... Yeah. I should be making better use of the circle button to stop myself from getting pipped by bloody laser beams, because I don't believe you get a lot of health pickups unless, of course, you're either defeating enemies or destroying specific objects. So, yeah, do be careful in the dive sequences. You have more than enough health to last you, provided that you don't crash into bells like a complete fool, but... Yeah. Just, play with caution, keep it sleazy, take it easy, and, you know, score some major points, dude! Yeah! I won! And I'm gonna fall right into the city! Oh no, Sora's going to die. Gay Paris! In the medieval times! And by the way, there is a festival going on, but notice the severe lack of people in the streets. 3DS limitations.
Stop.
What? Who? Me?
I've never seen you before. Your name?
I'm Sora.
Such disgusting attire. I know what you are.
Judge Frollo! Sir!
What is the matter, Captain Phoebus? Can't you see I am interrogating this gypsy?
This kid here? But, sir, he's just a boy.
I shall be the judge of that. Now, Captain, did you have something to report to me, or did you not?
Yes, sir. Monsters. They've invaded the square.
Monsters? I'll take care of it.
Hey, wait! It's not safe!
This city is overrun. For decades I've worked to purge the city of those wretched gypsies, and now the streets teem with even more disgusting vermin that threaten law and order.
Yes, we do have quite a bit to unpack with Judge Frollo and his very ancient-sounding voice. Although, funnily enough, in a bit of voice actor trivia, yeah, while, you know, Corey Burton isn't Judge Frollo's original voice actor, he did voice one of the guards in the original movie, so, yeah, he voiced one of Frollo's guards in the movie, and now he has become Frollo himself. Ah, continuity. But yeah, Frollo's character, if you're familiar at all with the original Hunchback of Notre Dame Disney film, you'll notice that he's very religiously charged, even more so in the original Victor Hugo novel, but it's neither here nor there in this case. You know, so before we tackle the disturbance good and proper, cutscene time go now.
I knew it was Dream Eaters! What are you doing? You need to run!
Oh no, I couldn't. Today's the festival, and look, I'm the king of fools!
Ha! Quasimodo!
It's my master. No! Oh, please stop. Why doesn't anything ever go the way I want it to?
Get to safety!
Let me help.
Huh? Who are you?
Esmeralda, I'm a gypsy.
Thank you. I'm Sora.
Gypsy witch?
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Now Sora's really gonna fuck you up. Yes, it's time for the dark and edgy Sora transformation.
Well, one could argue that was actually Vanitas, really, since he took Sora's face and was emo with his unversed. But yeah, in any case, so, Hunchback of Notre Dame. I guess while we have this tertiary beat-up Dream Eater sequence with, well, no particular people in sight, have I seen the original Hunchback of Notre Dame movie? I mean, that is to say the Disney film, not the film from the 1940s. Yes, I actually remember it quite vividly from my childhood, and, yeah, still very enjoyable. I mean, haven't seen it in years, mind you, but, you know, I mean, if this, even if this, in this, you know, like, very abridged Kingdom Heartsian representation, I can still enjoy it, I'm sure I'll probably enjoy the original movie quite as well today. I don't know, it might be worth actually going back and seeing it again, but, yeah. Needless to say, in spite of, like, some flaws that people have pointed out with it, especially if they're big fans of the movie, I don't know, this is a world I quite enjoy. Especially with Riku getting a peek at some Sora ass.
I wonder if that guy is alright. What was it?
Quasimodo. Yes, he seems to be a nobody lurking in the castle, darling. But in any case, so, yeah, there is at least somewhat of a justifiable explanation as to why this Festival of Fools, it doesn't really have a very populous Cloud. No, Cloud is gone, fighting Sephiroth in the Nth Dimension. No, part of the reason why I don't think there's really a lot of people out at the moment, I mean, I guess maybe apart from the Dream Eaters attacking, you know, this realm as it fell to darkness, I guess is primarily because, well, you know, as you could no doubt tell by the stank lines of darkness inhabiting Judge Frollo, yeah, gypsies are around and they don't want to incur his wrath, and, you know, to kind of talk about Judge Frollo himself, at least in regards to the original movie, yeah, very religiously charged. He's not persecuting the gypsies just because, grr, I'm evil, whatever. No, he legitimately thinks their practices are sinful and, well, despises their very existence because of that. So again, it does sort of touch upon the whole idea of, well, I guess religious... Well, I guess basically the whole sort of religious judgment and in turn feeling vindicated and righteous purely by virtue of your beliefs and people who contradict it. Which, you know, given the time in which this film was set, not entirely out of left field, but it does create an interesting little complexity in Frollo's character, and while Kingdom Hearts does sort of try and supposit this with, you know, darkness, you know, sort of clouding Frollo's beliefs, I suppose it could also bring up the whole idea of, you know, characters who would otherwise be righteous, in turn being corrupted by darkness by proxy of, you know, not really seeing the forest through the trees and taking their beliefs too far in a case. I mean, I suppose an example one could use in the Kingdom Hearts series itself would be Eraqus, really. You know, where he had such a staunch dogmatic view upon, you know, darkness that he was willing to kill Terra and Ventus purely because of the fact that they, you know, refused to step aside and, you know, had a very dogmatic view on the world. I mean, granted, though, they didn't really go as far with Eraqus as they did with Judge Frollo, but yeah, it's neither here nor there in this case. Wowzers, look at him. Look at that lovely bust. Well, it's more of a statue, if anything else. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I will say that in terms of graphics, like, both in the 3DS version, which, you know, looks relatively the same, there is a bit of, like, you know, cleanup, obviously, in the conversion from 3DS to, you know, 8th generation consoles, but yeah, like, I mean, from Shadows, art design and architecture, man, like, I mean, the developers did a really fucking good job of recreating this church in the film. I know, it hits a very gothic note, it looks snazzy, and goddamn, man. It's really fucking great to look at. And one thing I also want to praise about this level in and of itself, as I'm still gushing at the moment, is also the music. Like, I mean, again, like, there's a lot of, you know, whimsical stuff, obviously, but there's also, like, a lot of, you know, heavy, you know, choirs, you know, a lot of Latin singing, well, presumably anyway, this is very religiously charged. And, yeah, it really does sort of, like, hit upon very sombrous tones, and I don't know, man, like, I mean, when it gets to, like, a lot of the battle sequences, I don't know, it packs a lot of punch, really, and, you know, my hat tips off to Yoko Shimomura and her sound design team. And they are pretty good at their job. Yeah, I'm attacking you, little stag beetle, which I believe is a Kuwanger in Japanese language, hence why in Mega Man X you fought against Boomer Kuwanger. But anyway, as we travel with Arkham DMC3 and Anal Cunt, onwards to more adventures, we also use our new reality shift command, Faithline, which is basically just sort of rail grinding with, you know, faith. Man, if only religious faith really worked like that, man. Everybody would be going to church, you'd be skating your way to work. Although, in that sense, though, like, I mean, what religions would allow you to do that? Would it be any religion, or would it be a specific religion? Because otherwise, I get the impression that there'd be a lot more religious wars than what there would have been back during, I don't know, the Crusades. during some of the massacres held throughout all of our history in, you know, typical fashion. Which, I mean, I suppose is relevant enough to talk about with, you know, Hunchback of Notre Dame, because, yeah, the original novel was actually quite depressing, and, yeah, some very depressing stuff to talk about with Esmeralda and, Quasimodo in terms of their origins in the original book, because, it wasn't quite as lighthearted as it was here. Yeah, I'll just say that for nothing, but... Yeah, in the meantime, though, let's just keep things positive, you know? We're playing as Sora, he's very happy-go-lucky, and it's like, wow, this place is cool! So, yeah, let's not spoil his innocence. Let's wait until Riku, the more sober and mature of the bunch, you know, has world-weary life experiences and can handle this, because, pretty sure if Sora met the original Quasimodo, who, in the original novel was, you know, deaf, partially blind, and, well, you know, I don't want to say monstrously ugly. Quasimodo was a very handsome man, after all. You know, his mother would have said that he was handsome, but, yeah, original Quasimodo would have made Sora cry, because of how bloody tragic his story is. But after all, as that one episode of Sliders has taught us with John Rhys-Davies, you know, that which is good is always beautiful. So, yeah, good on you, John Rhys-Davies. Well done, lad. And on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, and I'll catch you dudes and dudettes next time.